want to forget the audio. All right, Coding for Young Artists, Lesson 9. We are live now with excellent quality, as Twitch is telling me right now, and with audio. Almost forgot to turn that back on in between sessions. All right. So today we're going to be looking at, yesterday we looked at while loops, and so things are getting a bit more advanced, where we have to start worrying about indentation in our code. Indentation is the spacing our lines take. And so today we're going to be looking at if statements. So we have while loops, if statements, and tomorrow we might combine if and while loops, or we might tomorrow look at if-else statements. All right, so our code's getting a bit more complicated. Push, ditch that. All right, lesson 9, turtles. Okay, so vocab for the day, we're gonna look at the word condition. We actually looked at the word condition yesterday. And so that's the piece of code that checks if something is true or false. And so we were checking that with the while loops. And today with our if statements, we're going to be doing that with our if statements as well. While loops and if statements are actually forms of what they would call conditional statements, where the code checks something, and if that thing is true or false, it will do that thing. But we don't need to worry about that. But we do need to think about the word condition, and let's take a look. Oh, and an if statement is a way to structure your code to make something specific happen, or make something happen if a specific condition is met. So if something happens in your code and you want something to happen because of that, like a branch, like a decision that's going to be made, you would use an if statement. That's one of the things you might use. So if you want to like make a decision in your code based on something else that happened, you would use an if statement. Let's take a look at what? All right, what is the name of the variable in line 3? Sorry, not line 3, line 4. So what's the name of the variable in line 4? This is just a refresher, because we also learned about variables. Let me fix that. Ignore spelling, any other ignores? Nope. All right, so what's the name of the variable in line 4? Any ideas? Line 4. The variable name's either my color or it's green. Which one is the name of the variable? X is line 3. I put the wrong line in. Line 4. What's the name of the variable going to be? Green. Very good, Owen. Wait, no. Green. Wrong, Owen. Wrong. Not very good. Wrong. Great job participating, but that's the value. We know it's the value because it's 1, because it's on the right side of the right-hand side of the equal sign. So this is the value. The name is on the left. So the name over here is X. The name on this one is my color. And the value for this one is going to be the string called green. So just remember that the names of the variables are always on the left side of the equal sign. That's when you're setting the name. When you're setting the name, that's what it is. All right, what is the condition on line 6? What's the condition on line 6? Any ideas? Line 6 is down here. We have this thing. What's the condition on line 6? What would it be? G-Man, you were also wrong about the name of the variable. I just want to put you on blast. Okay, so what's the condition on line 6? Let's see if you guys can redeem yourselves. No, the condition is this whole thing here. So the condition in programming, they call it an expression. So the expression here is x less than 100. An expression is just like a little snippet within a line of code. So it's a while loop, and the condition is the part that goes after while but before the colon. And so our condition here is x less than 100. And each time we go through the loop, it's going to evaluate whether x is less than 100 or not, because x is going to change. So that's why it wouldn't be true. What is the condition? So this is what the condition is, and it's going to check if it's true or false every time. All right, let's move on to line next one. What is the condition in line 3 here? What would the condition be? Line 3, what would be the condition? Yeah, so this is where it comes into play, true. And you should note that when you type true in Python, true has to be a capital T. If it's a lowercase t, it'll be a problem. Let me just give you an example of that. So capital T, it will do this. Lowercase t, you'll note it wasn't highlighted anymore. Capital T is highlighted, lowercase t not highlighted. We get an error. Name true, not defined. So true, same thing with false. It has to be a capital F, not a lowercase f. Okay. What's the condition in line 4? Import turtle, x equals 6. While x is greater than 0. Turtle forward, turtle left, turtle forward, turtle right. X equals x minus 1. What's the condition? X greater than 0. Very good. So the condition here is going to be x greater than 0. The condition ends when we put that colon in there. It starts right after while. So everything between while and the colon are the condition. X greater than 0. All right, so let's look at that vocab again. We have conditions, a piece of code that checks if something is true or false. I think we kind of get the idea about that now. So a condition can be a whole expression where there's checking things, or it can just be the word true. It could technically also be the word false, but that would be a silly thing to do for the most part. Sometimes when I'm programming, I might do something like that just to make something not happen. Now let's look at if statements. So if statements are a way to structure code to make something happen only when a specific thing. Think of it like a decision, like you're going to branch off. If you've got $10, you might go to this store, but if you have $50, you might go to a different store to buy something. It depends on like how much you have. Like your code looks at what it's already done and it makes a decision which way it's going to go. So here's an example of an if statement, part of an if statement. So we have if, and then we have the condition. I didn't put a condition in here. Make sure you have a colon at the end. And then you have to indent just like with the while loop. And then you put in your code. So we could say if name equals Galen. Also note that if you want to see if something is the same in Python, I'm going to mention this again later, you do 2 equal signs. Because 1 equal sign is setting the value. 2 equal sign is checking if they're the same. Setting the value, checking the same. Setting the value, checking the same. This is true for most programming languages, that setting the value is different from are they the same. So we could do that. We could do if age is greater than 18. Maybe we only want to do something if you're an adult. So if you're considered an adult, it would check if your age is 18. Maybe you want to do something only if you're a kid. So if your age is less than equal to 18. Less than equal to. Less than equal. Less than equal to 18. We want to do something for people that are kids only. Anyway. So your condition goes here. Make sure you use a semicolon. And then you've got your code that you have to indent. It's also worth pointing out that once you take away the indent, this is not part of the if statement. So we would say age greater than 18, and my age is 4, like I'm a baby or something, I'm a toddler, and I'm doing this. It'll skip, it won't do this code, and it'll go straight to the dot. So if age is greater than 18, it's gonna look at this, it's gonna go false, and then it will come straight down here. So it won't even look at this code, it'll just skip it if the condition isn't met. If the condition is met, it'll do all of this code, and then once it finishes with this code, it'll go to this line. So depending on if it goes into the if statement or not, it'll either do 3 lines of code or just 1 line of code. But this part down here is not part of the if statement. Let's look at some more complicated code. So we have import turtle. All right. We have turtle hide. Turtle hide turtle. We have getting a random number here. Oh, whoops, I forgot to do import random at the top. You can import more than one thing on a line, so I can do import turtle, import comma, import random, and that will do both in one line. Just a quick tip, save some space. So we have getting a random number between 2 and 20, and then we're going to draw a dot, and then based on this random number, we might draw more dots on top. Wait, I think I did these in the wrong order. Is this right? Hold on, give me a second. I think we want to do I wrote this last night at like midnight, and it's not going to do what I wanted it to do. But let's see what it does anyway. So we're going to I'm going to space it out a bit more. So we're going to get a random number, and then we're going to draw a dot. Yeah, it doesn't, let me fix this code. We want to draw, let's make this 100. Let's do 50. Let's do it like this. So we're always going to do the big yellow dot. And if our random number is more than 10, we'll do a blue dot on top. And if it's more than 20, we'll do a pink dot. So sometimes it draws a yellow. Sometimes it draws the yellow and the blue. And let's see if we can get something that's, wait, it's never going to be more than 20. Let's do more than 15. Okay. There we go. I'll copy that code for later. Okay, so let me just fix this. Sorry about that. 64. Okay. Oh, so those are what the colors are supposed to look like. Okay, so let's look at this again. It's going to get a random number. And it's always going to draw a dot that's 100. It's always going to draw the yellow dot. But then it looks at the random number, and if the random number is more than 10, it's going to draw a blue dot. And it's going to check again if the random number is even more than 15, it'll draw a pink dot that's the size of whatever it was supposed to be. So here, it must have been less than 10 because it only drew yellow. Less than 10, less than 10, less than 10. Oh, this one must have been 15 or more because it drew yellow, blue, and pink. Anyway, so that was that code. Let's take a look at this one. Here we've got a different example where we are using a list and we're picking a random color, and then we're checking what color it was. So we're going to check with equal equal. So it's always going to draw a dot. That's the color, but sometimes it's going to draw this crazy circle thing if it's yellow. An error. Whoops, forgot to do random again. Let me hide our turtle. Okay, so it just drew a blue dot, a pink dot. Now remember, if it draws a yellow dot, if it picks yellow, it should do a lot of pink and blues. Pink, blue, pink, blue. Up here we go. Now we've got a yellow. So it just picked yellow, so it should draw a yellow dot at the bottom. Boop. All right. So whenever it picks yellow, it's going to draw a circle, or it's going to draw this spiral shape. We could also add another one if what color equals blue. We could say turtle dot circle 50, so 365 times 5 divided by 17. So now if we have a blue dot, oh, it's going to draw a blue dot now. Okay, so these are if statements. I'm kind of using them in a sort of not so important way right now, just to make different art, to draw different shapes, but that's kind of how it has to work until we learn a bit more. These are really important. You use if statements all the time in code. You might not always use a while loop, but if statements, code is littered with if statements. So these are kind of important. Tomorrow we're going to add if else to them so that we can do two different things. But I didn't want to inundate you with too much info in one day. So we have if statements. Let's find the bug. Anyone see the bug here? Import turtle, x equals random int. If x greater than 4, forward left. If x less than 2, forward right. Does anyone see a problem with this code? Any errors in this code? There's one error. The error is this space here. So we have to make sure that now that we're working more with what they call white space in coding, where Python uses white space to kind of indicate the blocks of code. So like this is one block of code. This is a block of code. And Python indicates that with white space. Other programming languages use like semicolons like this, where you do something like this. But Python doesn't do that. It just uses the indentations. So it's important to make sure you get them all correct. So watch out for your white space. Same deal, yesterday we had a bug if it was like that. This would also be a bug because they have to be indented. Everything has to be the same inside of this block. Anyway, here's our code for today. This is only a snippet of the code because our code today is actually much longer. But we're going to roll a random dice by doing rand int 1 to 6. So we're going to have a dice. And then depending on what happens with the dice, we're going to draw different things. So we could have it draw something blue, something yellow. So I thought we would just practice with if statements using this. Do you guys want to code together today? All right, we can join mine if we want to. Let me, whoops. Or do we want to join one of yours? Do you want to join mine? Or do you want to join one of yours? All right, I'll create mine and then you all can join. Here you go. All right, so here's the code I have so far, where it rolls a dice. And 1, 2, 3. So we need to add something for 4. Pass is just a way of telling the code, just like, hey, move it along, buddy. Let me make some changes to mine. Did you guys know that you can change the way your colors look? So we could pick dark theme if we wanted to. Dark. I don't think that looks good on the screen though. I'm going to change my indent size to 4. And that's it. Okay. So, yes. If we want, so I think that's UG man. If you want, you could do if dice equals 5. You could do that. Put something here. We could also do something like if dice. We could use in. This is a tricky one. If dice in, so this is for checking list. If dice is in 1, 3, 5, we could put something here. So that means if dice is either 1, 3, or 5, if it's any of those. In is like checking if it's inside of that list. So if whatever number is dice is in this list, it'll do that. Let me pop open our chat. Okay. So each one of these can be something a little different. I'll delete that one for now. If dice equals 6, pass. All right. What do we got so far? So I had mine doing shapes, like a diamond, a circle. I don't know what number 3 is. It's hot pink. Oh, it's 3 dots. So why don't you pick something for 4? Oh, and do you want to try doing something for 6? I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water. All right. So we could do turtle dot. They don't have to be very complicated. Circle. Turtle dot dot. Let's do 100 blue. Let's do dark blue. Turtle dot dot. I like the idea of doing 6 dots for 6 because it's the number 6. So let's start at 100. What's 100 divided by 6? Let's do 100 divided by 6. Let's do 85. Let's do a dot that's 85. Let's do a turtle dot dot that's 60. Turtle dot dot 45. Turtle dot dot 30. Turtle dot dot 15. And then we can make the colors blue, light blue, and then let's just dark blue, light blue, dark blue, blue, light blue. I don't think you can make one that's half of a pixel. You could do one that's 8. And we have that space there. That space is going to mess things up, so let's remove that. All right, so let's see what happens. We rolled a 5, I think. No, we got an error. Object has no attribute palette on line 7. Oh, you guys messed up my code. Random color, I don't know what happened here, equals random.choice palette. Did I misspell palette or did you guys misspell palette? So this actually isn't a list, but that's fine. This is called a tuple. When you put them in parentheses, they're called tuples. When you put them in brackets, they're called lists, but we can keep it a tuple. They kind of work the same. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. You're trying to pick a random color. I see what you're trying to do. Line 24. We wouldn't do turtle.what color. I'm gonna delete that for now. All right, we've got, we just rolled a 1. We did some dots. I think we just rolled a 4. Oh my gosh, that was the thing we just did. That was rolling a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something like that. Navy blue. Oh, interesting. It's all right. Okay. Someone has to put something in for 5. I think turtle dot color. Wait, no, I think if you're going to do dots, you would do what color, what color. Just a reminder, the pass doesn't do anything. It's just a way of like taking up code space. If you need a line of code, but you don't want that code to do anything, you can just put pass there. So you need a line of code after an if statement. You can't just write if and then put nothing after it, so you have to, so I put pass there just as a way of saying like, hold up code. I I do have to get going soon. So let's finish this up and then you guys can keep working too, of course. Let's do more navy blue. Let's put navy blue right there. That's a 2, I think. That's a 6. I think that's a 1. Oh, interesting. That kind of looks cool. Oh, that's a number 1. 6, 3, 1. Oh, that kind of looks cool. Roy G. Biv. Blue, indigo, violet. Indigo. Indigo. And the last one would be violet. All right, so we have 6. We've got, which one is that? 2. 2 kind of looks like Illuminati. We have 5. We've got whatever that one is. Illuminati again. The other Illuminati. 6. All right, guys. I gotta get going. Great job working with if statements today. So tomorrow I think we're gonna look at if-else statements where we do 2 different things. Great work working together on the code. I will see everyone tomorrow.